I think we can all agree that finding a style is really hard. It takes years of work to really narrow something down that you like and that is visually appealing to yourself and maybe your audience if that's what you're trying to go for, or maybe for a future job that you're trying to curate your portfolio towards. It's really not easy. um, Especially if you're just kind of starting out or you don't really know what direction you want to go to with your art or what profession you might want to try if you plan on like doing industry. It can be really confusing to try to get to that point. So let's try to break it down and see if I can't give you some tips on how to get where you might want to go. So my first tip is to try to take inspiration from artists. I feel like this is the one that everyone kind of says. Um, but when I say take inspiration, I don't mean just look at their art. If this is the kind of art you want to make, you really need to like sit down and analyze it. What I mean by analyzing it is by you might open up their art piece in Photoshop, like copy and paste it into your Photoshop file and put a layer on top of it and just start breaking down shapes. Just show yourself like, how can I break this down into its most basic forms and then recreate that in my own way. And you know, little things are going to differ, especially if you're just starting out. Big things might differ, but this will really help you understand like what sort of shapes and angles you need to make and what sort of things you need to start learning in order to get to the style that you want. My next tip for this is finding your niche, basically. So finding your niche it sounds like a really weird businessy term that sounds fun. Sorry, not fun. It sounds not very fun. God, I'm having so much trouble today. And it's almost too rigid, which if you're not really planning on being a professional artist, I wouldn't worry about this as much. I'm also going to touch on this later in the video for a secret tip, so stay to the end. And basically what I'm trying to say is you want to find what sort of art you want to do. Like taking inspiration from your artist that I said last time. You want to, like if you want to be a character animator for a show like Gravity Falls, your art is going to go in a different direction than someone who wants to be a background concept artist for Call of Duty. It's definitely not going to look the same, is what I'm trying to say. You need to find something to focus on. And I mean, money can be a motivating factor. Some art niches are more profitable than others. Well, I shouldn't say more profitable than others. They're more likely to be profitable than others. Just because you're good does not mean you will make money. And that's the sucky part about doing art as a profession. But I digress. What you're trying to do is hone in your art on something that you're good at, that you actually enjoy drawing, especially if you're doing this as a hobbyist. Don't do something that you don't like to do. Even if you are going into art as a career, don't do something you don't like to do. It'll show. It'll show that you don't like to do it, and it'll take you that much longer to even get good at it, and you won't enjoy it at all. Basically, don't go into a profession you don't enjoy. At least for me, I can't do that. Why do you think I'm doing art as a living? Is it because I hate myself? No. I don't know. Maybe it is. But anyway, so my next tip is going to be My next tip is going to be make your rules after that. Your styles, your style is reliant on rules. And this makes it to where it's definable. A style is a set of rules, a set of parameters, even in art that makes it consistent and recognizable, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Lavender Town's rules for art are obviously way different than, let's say, Jazza or Rostraws. Yeah, I was trying to think of his actual name, and the only thing I could think of was his username. So yeah, Rostraws and Lavender Town and Jazza are all going to have very different styles. They've all done different work. They all do different things. Lavender Town is a comic writer and a YouTube artist. I mean, they're all YouTube artists. Rostraws is more of a illustrator, graphic novelist type. They're all doing different work. And that's the other thing is, if you want to work in comics, you do not want to be painting realistic life portraits. You get what I'm saying? While that stuff is important, and it's also going to tie in to, once again, the last tip, watch the end of the video, it's going to be way different if you're trying to make comics, because that's not going to work out for you. You're going to get burnt out if you even can keep up with the workload at all. So my next tip is going to be experiment. Do things you wouldn't normally do. You might even not like drawing some of these things, and that's okay. Don't spend too much time on it, but do it enough to know that you don't like it, at least. Try everything once. Don't say no to things. Draw abstract, do life studies. I kind of hate going out and doing life studies, but I still do them sometimes when the inspiration strikes me. Just keep yourself sharp. Trace your favorite cartoons. Do those things. Figure out what makes them work. Don't go around claiming people's work as your own, but figure out what you like. Play with colors. Make bad choices. Make bad art. And don't be afraid to do that. People might make fun of you at first, or might tell you that you're bad or whatever, but everyone was bad at some point. I don't even think that some of the art that people used to tell me was good is very good anymore, but that's just professional artist. Forever imposter syndrome talking. The standards are different for different people, and if you enjoy what you're doing, even if it's not good, and you know you'll get better, that's enough to keep you going, I think. It's nice to have payoffs, but if you know that your art is bad, that just means your eye is better than your hand is. Your hand will catch up, and then you'll be making great art again, and then your eye will catch up, and then you'll think it's bad again, even though it's way better than what you were doing before. It's a forever cycle, a forever horrendous cycle that I love. It's a beautiful thing to make art. So yeah, don't be afraid to make bad decisions, choose bad colors, make bad line art. Just keep learning is basically what I'm trying to say. Always work on it. And if you made it this far in the video, congrats, you finally made it to the end. So here's that secret tip I was talking about. And I guess it's maybe not so secret.